Hello, my name is Arnesh. I go to Irvington High School, and the project I chose was the Make Your Own Computer Game with Unity. And this is my second milestone where I was able to get my character to move left, right, and jump. So the first step to this is actually adding the rigid body 2D to my sprite. So in this case, it allows the game object to react to real-time physics, and essentially in this case, gravity. So that when my character jumps, it comes back down to the ground. So I added the rigid body 2D component to my sprite, but in addition to that, I also had to add a Circle Collider 2D. So the reason Circle Collider 2D, the reason why I used that is because Pac-Man is a circle, so that I can and the reason why I also use Collider is so that I can detect collision between my character and the ground. So after adding the Circle Collider 2D, when I hit play, my character is going to fall through the ground because there's no collider yet to the ground yet. I only added it to the main character. So what I have to do is also add it to the ground. So when I go to background, C is the ground in this case. Also what I had to do for this is add a box collider 2D. And after adding box collider 2D, and when I hit play, basically this Pac-Man is going to drop to the ground and only stay on the ground. It's not going to go below the ground. It's only going to stay on the ground. So that's the reason why I had to add colliders between these two, so that I can detect collision between both these game objects. So the next thing came through writing the script in order to make my character move left, right, and jump. So the main problem I had to actually figure out after getting all of this to work was that my character was rotating right and left. But how I wanted to make this game look like was that I only wanted to flip in the other direction. When my character is moving right, and suddenly the user tries to move left, the character should flip. It shouldn't be rotating to left. It should just directly uh, flip. And just like the original Pac-Man, how it just automatically flips in this case. So how I fixed that is I talked with my instructor, and there's actually this freeze rotation that came with the rigid body. And what I had to do is freeze rotation equals true, which means that my character shouldn't be rotating. It should only be flipping. So basically what I did throughout this whole script is create different variables. So in this case, the max speed, which my character should move left and right, jump speed for how much speed my character should be jumping. I also had to create rigid body 2D and animator objects. So what I had to do is get these components and store that in a variable, and then I could use these variables throughout my script, so that I could actually determine if my character should move left, right, and up. The additional thing I had to also do was that so basically when my character is moving, it should make my character close its mouth and open its mouth. But when my character is frozen, it should only be closing its mouth. It shouldn't be switching between closed mouth and open mouth. So in order to fix that, I added another. So there's the Animator Tab. So this allows us to switch between two animation states in the game. So Pac-Man idle is when Pac-Man is closed its mouth, and Pac-Man animation is when it's switching between closed mouth and open mouth. So in order to actually use this in the script, what I had to do, and I also had to figure this out with my instructor, is there is this anim.play. So basically in this condition, if my character isn't moving, then the animation playing should be Pac-Man idle, which means closed mouth. Else, which means if my character is moving, then it should play this Pac-Man animation. So these are basically what I had to do throughout the script. So the main highlights of the script actually is flip. So that if my character is moving right, suddenly it moves left, it should flip my character to face in the other direction and not rotate. And also the additional thing is that I had to check if the character was on the ground. So only when my character is touching the ground, then my character can jump. Otherwise, my character can't jump. So there's where I have this condition. So if I hit space and if I'm touching the ground, then only it should jump. Otherwise, if I still hit the space and I'm still in the air, then I'm not allowed to jump. So also another thing is that if in order to move my character left and right, I had to basically switch the velocity only in the x coordinates, since moving left and right is only in the x coordinates. So move times max speed times 4. So, but the only thing that remains the same is RB of velocity y, since I'm not moving vertically, I'm only moving horizontally on left and right. So this is for moving my character left and right. And this is to get my character jumping. So in this case, my RB velocity x stays the same, since jumping is only in the y coordinate. So the only thing that's being altered is new vector 3 jump speed. So here's where I created my variables here. Additional thing I also want to point out is when I go to my sprite, so here we can actually see the script attached. But here we also have these different characteristics. So we could all configure these variables here in our program, and we can also configure these properties here itself in the Unity editor. So you have max speed here in the Unity editor, jump speed, ground check radius. Ground check is basically checking if my character is on the ground. So after getting all of this figured out, also one thing I want to point out is the main camera. So this is how the game is going to look like when I play it. So when I hit this play button, I'm allowed to play the game. So to experiment, let me hit this play button, and then hopefully you should see that my character is able to move the way I want it to. So after hitting this play, we see our characters moving the way we want it to. So move left and right, and we're not limited to arrows. We also have A and D. So let me hit A and D. See our characters moving left and right. And it's not rotating, it's only flipping. So when I hit space, I can't hit space again until I'm on the ground. And I can go off the screen too. So what I also did was add a box collider to the left of the screen so that my character could not jump off the map. So that's basically this milestone. So the next thing I should be hopefully working on is getting the side scroller to work and also to add the enemies and obstacles, since this is how my game is going to look like.